how do you balance experimentation and commitment in the projects that you pursue?
The inherent in experimentation is failure. And if you want the experiment to work out every time, then you will make the factors easier so that it works every time, but then it loses the value of the experiment, right? Which is to push the boundaries, right? And so if you want to experiment and push boundaries, you just have to learn to be comfortable with failure. In other words, understand that this is not a short game, but a long game. If you're playing a short game, then everything you do has to work. If you're playing a long game, then this doesn't have to work, but I have to learn something. Whether it succeeds or whether it fails, I need to learn what works so we can do it again. And so I am okay with failure. I'm not 100% okay with it. Nobody is, but I'm okay with it. I very often try out new material, not just with my friends, but on a stage with a paying audience that require me to perform. I could always do the thing that I know, and that way I know I'll do okay, but then am I really advancing my own ideas? And so, not everything I do is successful, and not all of my talks are good, and not all of my ideas are easy to understand, but I do them out loud because I'm thinking, I'm learning. And so whether we're doing a Q&A day, or whether, if it fails, I'm not going to say, oh, it failed and start looking for heads to chop because it failed. I'd say, okay, it failed. Let's debrief. What happened? What did we do? What didn't we do? What sucks and what sucks less? What sucked and what sucked less, that when we do it again, we won't fail, or we'll fail less. But you have to be okay with failure if you want to advance. Otherwise, you end up playing safe. It's the same with training. The whole point of training is that you want the mistakes to be made in training.
Right.
And if people want to see their scores go up in training,
Mm-hmm.
then they're not pushing themselves to the absolute limit. It's like military training. You want to get shot in military training. You want to see how far you can push before you get hit.
Mm-hmm.
Not in combat. You want to do it in training.
Right.
And so good, effective training, if people are really pushing themselves, you should actually see the metrics go down in training, because it means people are pushing and trying and seeing what works and what doesn't work. And you train and train and train and train and train until that you start to see what works.
Yeah.
And some people, train live. In business, it's not life and death. And so if we try something, we might lose money. And you see this all the time, and especially in big business. They put all of their eggs in one basket. They try something, it fails, and they just move on. They write it off. There's no debrief, or worse, heads roll when they failed. And so the company has to be okay with the fact that if we're going to try something new, we might lose money. But that's because it's new. Innovation is expensive. You can't be run by efficiency and want to be innovative. Those things don't go together. Innovation is wasteful because you fail and you waste money and you try again, and then you fail again and you waste money and you try again, and eventually you come up with something new. Innovation is wasteful. I got nothing for you. As far as the commitment goes, I think, it's about managing expectations, which is I'm very quick to say to people, I'm going to try out some new ideas. My commitment is to perform something. It's not necessarily to perform what they know before. Sometimes the people I work with are more afraid than I am. They want it to succeed, and so they want me to do what's tried and true. But part of the value I think I bring is I have to practice what I preach. I can't push and then talk about pushing boundaries if I'm not willing to do it. And the same goes for the people who would want me to join them in whatever pursuit, which is they should want me to do that because that's what we're doing together.
Yeah.
So
seems like you have a lot in common with a comedian like Louis C.K., who people are always asking him, play your greatest hits, and he says, no, I need to play the new material.
Yeah, I struggle with that because I've given a talk before, like I've done all new material, and someone will come up to me and say, wow, it's so great not to hear you do the wise stuff in the Golden Circle, and really great to hear, the new stuff. And then the same talk, someone will come up to me like, yeah, it was good, but I was really looking forward to hearing, I don't know. I don't know. I'm the person who wants to go to Rolling Stones concerts or, Sting, and I want to hear old Police songs. I don't want to hear new stuff. So I don't know. I don't know the answer.